Hello everybody and welcome, and today we are going to be playing some Dimir Highlander. So this is a control deck but with a little bit of a twist because every card in this deck is played just once. Of course the only exceptions are the basic lands, in our case the islands and the swamps, but every other card is only present in one copy. So this is a more of a control deck, I would say. We've got some fairy synergy, we've got the monarchy with the Black Rose and the Fleet Admiral here. We've got a lot of counter magic. We even added some niche counter magic like Hydroblast, which of course the opportunity cost isn't super high when we are playing Highlander, and post sideboard we have a sideboard here. By the way, the challenge includes the sideboard, which means that every card in the sideboard is only present once as well. And we have some really cool win conditions as well. So we are playing the Terror package as well, because we are playing so many non-creature spells, so many instants and sorceries, 19 lands. Of course, the non-basics need to be played only once, so I needed to experiment with the landscapes, which I think are pretty good. And then the Ashburns, we are playing the Lorien Reveals along with the Troll of Khazad-dûm. And then we are finding some cards with Augurs and the Archaeologist. We've got a lot of counter magic with Loose Focus and Counter Spell, Dispel, and so on and so forth. A lot of cantrips. The cantrips in this deck are super good, like Brainstorm and Serum Visions, Preordain, Ponder, Opt, because we can find the singles we need in the specific matchup. And then of course we've got the removal package like Cast Down, even Doomblade, along with cards like Snuff Out, and we've got some small ninja synergy with the Ambusher and Ninja of the Deep Powers. We even have fitted some Graveyard Hate and Hand Disruption in the deck in Rotten Reunion and Cremate, and the Hand Disruption in the Divest and Duress. The sideboard is kinda interesting because it follows the same rules, so we've got some counter magic here in the Sabotage, Scatter, some Envelopes, more red counter magic and Annul. Then some more removal spells and or very unique cards into grindy matchups like the Gang Shinobi. We've got some more AoE in Arms of Hadar and Drown in Sorrow. And the extraction here, the Mind Extraction, I think that's really good against monocolored decks. So if you run into mono blue or mono black, this could be great. Then the Incursion, one Gutshot, and some cards to deal with the graveyard and some life gain. So let me know what you think about the deck and which cards I forgot to add, and I will see you in the games. Alright guys, so we have a first game of the day here against Gargagnoso, and we would like to play first, of course, as always. This hand is pretty interesting. It basically has a lot of plays late game, but it doesn't have much early game. I'm not sure if we can keep this. It does have the Mystic, which is good, but the Ambusher, it has a lot of lands though, and we are going first, so this could work in theory, but I'm not sure if it will work in practice. Let's mulligan this one. Yeah, I'm kinda happy we did, because this is a little bit better. Let's keep. And we will throw away probably the Ashburns here. Alright, so let's start things off with the landscape. We will correct that and their end step. Turn 2, probably the Modern Age, I would assume. Okay, Fairy Miscreant, so this looks like fairies off top. That shall be a pretty difficult matchup actually, so we will see what can we do with that. Let's find an island. Snuff Out. Snuff Out is good. I think I will play the Modern Age, and we can discard the Thorn pretty safely. I don't think the Monarchy will be super good against fairies. Yeah, so we discard the Thorn of the Black Rose, and we just say go. We have Snuff Out ready. The dream would be if they flip like a big ninja here. That would be awesome, because we could snuff that out. Okay, it's a small ninja. I think I will snuff that out anyway, actually. I'm not sure if they have a land or not, but I will definitely kill that. I don't want them to draw a card. Okay, we draw and discard. So we have a lot of lands, so I think discarding, for example, the Bog would be a pretty good idea. They don't have the land, which is good for us. So we discard the Bog. They don't have any synergies with the graveyard. We will Ponder here. Lorien, Island. I actually don't like any of these. We will do the Any Order and then shuffle, please. Okay, so after shuffling, we still find an island, which is fine, because we can use that to play that. And then we have the Agony Warp, if they play like a fairy or flip into a ninja or something. Okay, so they did find a second land and they will play a Fairy Miscreant. We could use the Warp on that, but I don't think I want to. I don't think it's super necessary. Okay, we drew a second Terror. I'm not sure how ideal that is, but we get the 2/3 transformed, which is great as a blocker. We can play the island, and do we have enough for any of these guys? We have only 2 instants and or sorceries. So sadly we don't, so we have to pass here. But with the warp in the graveyard, we have enough for the snakes, so let's see what they do. Their attacks are pretty painful, and if they bounce back the Vector Glider with Snap, we might be pretty okay actually. They go to combat, that's it, okay, no other land. I think we will actually warp here. I want my snakes to be online until they have another land for counter spells, so we do -3 here, and then we kill the Miscreant. If they want to like spell pierce that, we are completely okay with that too. Okay, it worked, good. We found a cast down, which is actually pretty good as well. We finally can cast the Serpent and the Terror, so I think we will just not attack and go for the Terror here. Alright, they go for the Harriest Tricks, tapping down the Glider, so there will probably be some ninja action here very soon. Yeah, they attack. Probably flip that for a Hacker. Unless they don't, alright. Find this one, that's pretty good. I think since they have 2 flyers, we can start attacking pretty safely here. We could cast down and then we have the Serpent as well, which could be a pretty good play actually to get on the board. Or we could just play the Serpent because now we have 3, so we have 4 here, 5. You know what, let's actually do it. Let's cast down first, and we will kill the Snare Master Sprite because it's a fairy, and then we will cast the Serpent. We are going all in here, and we should be able to win pretty nicely. I don't think fairies have a lot to deal with this in the main deck. They could have like bind the monster or something. Okay, no blocks. Big ninja here, alright. If they find a land, that's good, because they can play the Strix as well. Or some other flyer. Okay, we do find the Aqueduct. I wonder if we should wait with the Glider. If we attack with everything, it's obviously lethal, so they need to block the Harriest Strix, but then they can get in with the ninja, and I'm not sure if we want to allow that. I think we will force them to block with the Strix though. Just get in with everything. Okay, they block the biggest of them. Still get hit for 7 though, which is a lot. Then let's play the Aqueduct, returning the island. Okay, the Strix is back. We don't have any more permanents here, so that I'm actually glad we attacked. They tap the Swamp in case we have a removal spell. It's fine, we have a land. They actually know that we have a land, so that's fine. Of one mind, alright. And another of one mind, which is pretty good. They are starting to find more and more lands. Very Miscreant. They need to chump block a lot here. They can't even attack with the ninja properly. I mean, they can, but it's super risky, because if you have like a removal or something, they are instantly dead, right? Okay, another island, not ideal. Let's make them block both of these guys. We could also not attack with the Vector Glider as well. I think that's ideal because we want to be able to block the ninja and stop the tempo from happening. They've drawn a lot of cards, so they need to block at least one of those guys. Okay, decide to use the Miscreant here and go to 1. We play one of those islands and just say go. We have a blocker here. So they go to combat instantly and attack with the Strix and the ninja, alright. So we will block the ninja. They could have like Brine Barrow Intruder, but we don't really care because this guy doesn't die anyway. And sweet, we do win the first game, which is great. So the second game, what do we want here? I think that we definitely want some removal. We want things like Arms of Hadar. Fumes are pretty good as well. I don't think the Monarchy will work in this matchup. I think Hadar is great and Drowning Sorrow is great as well. Black Mage's Rod seems a little slow. We definitely want to bring the Gutshot. That's pretty great against fairies. And honestly, I think that's about it. Maybe Mind Extraction could be cool. Yeah, I think Mind Extraction could be really fun if it works. So maybe let's take away the Serum Visions and play Mind Extraction, because if we manage to sacrifice a blue creature, that will be really good, and the game could be over here and there, right? And of course, since we are Highlander, I did forget to sideboard out the Hydroblast, so this spell is really useless. But in general, this hand is pretty good. We have the Archaeologist, which can serve as a blocker of some ninjas. We have the Fangs, Doomblade, this is okay, let's keep. Of course, the Hydroblast is completely useless, so I hope we can discard it sooner or later. They don't do anything, that's fine. We will go for a Swamp and instantly use a Duress on them. They will probably Spell Pierce, I would assume. Okay, they have Counterspell, Brine Barrow Intruder, of one mind, okay. I think we will take off the of one mind here. They have double human, which is also good for us. Let's take off one mind, let's keep the counterspells in their depository here. They flash in the Intruder, which means they can actually go for the ninja here. But if they do, they don't have a counterspell, and then we have the Archaeologist, which is, again, very good for us. Yep, so they flip it, and we find this spell, which is actually a great find. We could Doomblade, but I think instead we will deploy a blocker of our own, so we will play the Archaeologist here. Preordain and Necronous Bargain. I actually like maybe Preordain a little bit more in this matchup. Let's go for Preordain. Okay, another Barn Barrow, that's cool. Harrier Strix, so there is double counterspell in their hand. Oh, they will, okay. They discard a Fairy Seer, so they want to keep both of the counterspells, okay. We do have a Dispel, which is awesome. Let's play an Island first. This can serve as a blocker. We have a Doomblade and a Dispel whenever we want, basically. So I think we can just pass the turn. They instantly go to combat. And they do it like this. We will block the Ninja here. Looting is still really powerful, so we wanna be able to deny that. And they flip a Moon Circuit Hacker, which we will Doomblade. They will try to counterspell that. And we will Dispel the counterspell. Yep, we will Dispel the counterspell. They have a second counterspell, but this turn we can actually use to play some meaningful stuff, because they don't have any mana open. So let's go for Preordain first. We need to find lands as well. A Deep Unless Island. I mean, bottom this. I do like me an island though. Let's put it on top. So let's do that. Let's opt. I want to find some playing main phase. Ideally. Troll is not that good. Let's bottom that. Snare Master Sprite. I think Snare Master Sprite is actually pretty good. We could also try to go with Unexpected Fangs. But the issue with that is they can counterspell that, right? And if we do this main phase, they can just bounce it if they draw like a snap or something. So I think I would like to keep the Fangs for some other occasion. And I will go with Snare Master Sprite instead. We'll Cremate at the end of their turn probably. And no attacks here. Still looking for a way to get rid of the Hydroblast, which I forgot to sideboard. Okay, they go for Strix. That's pretty good for them. So we know they have one counterspell in there. They tap the Fairy. Sure, that's fine. Okay, so Declare blocks. We will block the Ninja here. No ninjas from their side, which is great for us. That's exactly what we want here. They do play a Fairy Seer. I will try to Cremate in response, exiling the, let's say, the counterspell. If they wanna counterspell the Cremate, they are free to do that, of course. But I don't think they want to do that. Okay, it works. We find the Confession, which is actually pretty good. We can get rid of the Ninja here. They do have a counterspell, which is something we need to be wary about. Okay, Augur, that's really good. So I think we will try to go for the Confession, and then we will try to go for the Augur as well. So we will Confession, and we will actually exile those cards with mana value 6 or more. If we have that, I think we should. 4, and then 1, 2 should be fine. Which means the Ninja should be gone. If they decide to counterspell, we will play the Augur. It works, that's good. Although, now we are a little bit in a weird of a position. I'll just say go. I don't want to play the Augur into a counterspell. They would definitely counterspell that, so they bind the monster. That's fine. Okay, they hit us for 2. The game has slowed down a lot actually. Dimir Aqueduct, that's good. So I think we will go for the Fangs, maybe end step, but I'm not sure on what, right? Because they do have the counterspell, which is very annoying here. I think I just go for the Aqueduct, return the island, and that's about it. We are taking 2 damage a turn from the flyers, not ideal, but we can negate some of it with Unexpected Fangs. No blocks. End step should be Fangs right now. I mean, if they draw something like a Spell Pierce or Dispel, it's even like worse, right? So I think let's just wait. Drown Sorrow is really good. So what I think we can do is just, we can try and bait that with Augur. And then when we do that, we can Drown in Sorrow. They definitely want to counterspell that. They don't? Okay. Okay, Rotten Reunion. We take that, it's cool. Okay, so we want to wait on that. We can then try to Fangs on their turn as well. Or we can just Reunion, that's simple as well. And yeah, then we have a free way to Fangs, at least the Augur, right, or something. I'm surprised they let this through, to be honest. No attacks. They run up to the combat, attack with all the flyers as always. No blocks. Deal 2. Play a land, okay, end step, sure. I think we will just try an Unexpected Fangs, the Augur of Bolas, so that we can actually swing back. I don't think they will like that though. I think they will counterspell that. If they have like a dispel, that's really good for them here. Nope, they go for the counterspell. That's good, because now we have a free way of Drown in Sorrow here. Cast Down. Cast Down is great as well. So let's just Drown in Sorrow. Oh, it's double black. I didn't even notice. Okay. Okay, Drown works, and here's a Fairy Seer. Do we want a Fairy Seer is the question. I mean, it's probably better than a random card, right? So let's put that on top. Let's keep it there. Awesome. Maybe should have attacked, but then like, it's a little bit suspicious, and they could suspect the board clear, so let's just do it like this and chill. Okay, they didn't do anything. We love that. Let's attack for 1. It's funny how the Hydroblast is rotting in our hand still. Let's try and play the Fairy Seer here. Will they counterspell that? They will counterspell the Fairy Seer. That's very surprising, but that's cool. We have the cast down. We will start probably using the Rotten Reunion very soon. End step, so let's Rotten Reunion the Hacker, for example. And then we can actually Rotten Reunion again, because why not? And let's Reunion the Fairy Seer, for example. We have double tokens. Okay, no scry. Island, let's just attack for 1 here, chipping them very slowly, and just say go. Okay, we draw some Ash Barons, which is not ideal. I think we will land cycle that to thin our deck. Find a swamp, play the swamp, attack for 1, say go. We definitely need some clock here, and now I am regretting the fact that we have sideboarded out all the monarchs, right? Okay, another island, that's not ideal. But they've been drawing a lot of lands as well, it looks like. Okay, looks like they have a lot of counter magic, although if I'm not mistaken, they did use all 3 of their counter spells. Okay, wow. That's a pretty bad time to be getting flooded though, that's for sure. They go for Fairy Miscreant, okay. Okay, Mine Extraction. I don't even know if we wanna play that. I mean, it probably just baits a counter spell or something, right? Unless it doesn't, and they just don't care. That's also something it could do. Let's just try and play it. I think we can Mine Extraction the Archaeologist here. They use a Spell Stutter Sprite and bind the monster. That's actually good, so we have discarded their whole hand. Not bad at all. Of course we are on a clock here, which is pretty scary as well. We can cast down like the Sprite or something if you really want to. They double attack. Let's see if they have ninjas. They do. Big one too. So let's just cast down the big ninja here. And they have a Sprite, which means they can counter anything with mana value 2 or less. Oh, including the cast down, that's true, I forgot. So I think we are in trouble here, for sure. Spell Pierce, I think we will go to game 3 here. Let's take away all the suspect cards here. Cremate not good. Reunion pretty bad. Mind Extraction wasn't that good even. Diabolic Edict is fine, not the best though. I think we can go for a Admiral as well. Campfire seems good. We add the Annul and then the Gang Shinobi if the game goes long. We are playing first, so we have a chance here. I didn't remove the Hydroblast, by the way. Oh my god. That's crazy. Dimir Aqueduct, we have the Gacho. This is pretty good actually. Let's keep this one. I like it. It's a lot of removal. We will probably just play the Ash Barons and then return the Ash Barons with the Aqueduct. Okay, so let's play the Barons. They go for a Fairy Seer. We will gotcha that ASAP. Sweet. We have a Fairy Seer of our own, which is quite good. Let's play the Dimir Aqueduct. Return the Ash Barons. Of course, not ideal, but we can at least use that to basic land cycle. Harrier Strix. Alright. They tap the Aqueduct. That's cool. Okay, Gang Shinobi. So, I think we will use the black mana to basic land cycle for an island, actually. Play the island. Then we have 2. I wonder what's better. We could hold a Dispel. We could also just play the Fairy Seer and then block, which I think is better, and hold a Dispel, like I said. Or we could just play the Archaeologist, but then we give them a Ninja. It could be pretty weird. Yeah, let's just play the Fairy Seer and set up for next turn as well. That's pretty great as well. We will see what's on the top of our deck. Okay, Opt and Augur. I don't love Opt. Well, the thing is we actually need to find land as well, I just realized, right? So we can actually Opt and then Augur. And we draw the Augur, which can find the Opt. That's pretty good. They go for a Brineburrow Intruder, alright. I think we are blocking the Strix, for sure. They have another Intruder, interesting. End step, okay. So we have the Augur here, which is pretty awesome. They are stuck on 2 lands, which makes us decently happy. Let's play the Augur. We know there's an Opt there, and the Brainstorm. So Brainstorm sees more, and we can then use it to mill. So I will choose Brainstorm. Any order. And let's play Brainstorm trying to find a land. There's obviously no land for some reason. Okay. Murmuring Mystic, that should be pretty good as well. Well, we need to find land though. So we will mill cards with the Archaeologist. So let's put on top the Mystic and the Preordain. We can mill the Preordain, return it back. Hopefully that can help us to find the land. Let's block one of the intruders. And here's the Preordain. I think I might have did. Yeah, I've probably done it the other way, which is fine, honestly. Not the end of the world. I mean, let's Preordain for a land. We really need to find it. Bog. I mean, Bog is a land. Let's put it on the bottom. Let's stop the Bog. Draw the Bog. Probably just play the Bog. Exile their grave. And I think we will go for the Archaeologist here. We could hold the Agony Warp, but I think I will go for the Archaeologist. They counterspell, that's fine. We will block with the Ogre. Let's block one of the intruders again. And no ninjas yet, which is fine. We can use the Ambusher though, to gain some life back. They probably have a hand full of counter magic. We could also use the Okiba Gang Shinobi. Sweet. I think let's see if they want to block. We could also use Suffocating Fumes too. Okay, let's Gang Shinobi them. They need to discard 2. What's great about Ninjutsu is that it can be countered, so it's really good against blue decks, so I'm glad we did this. Dispel Miscreant, that's really good. Okay, they hit us for a lot here. I wonder what's the deal with that. Do they want to discard the rest of their hand? They probably do, right? Do they have like a snap or something? Maybe a spell starter or something to flash in? They have a spell starter which they will use to block, that's cool. We could actually use the Agony Warp, make them discard the last card. Is that important right now? What can we do then? We can play the Ogre, which is actually a good blocker. I love this. So we will play the Agony Warp, -3, -0, let's say here, and then kill the Spellstutter Sprite. We have the Dispel if they have something else. They don't, good. So let's see what was the last card. It was another Spellstutter, so that was very good. We can use the Suffocating Fumes, but I think I'm for the Bolas here instead. We can then combine that and kill the intruder maybe. Snuff Out is awesome. Let's take that. Any order? We don't have a swamp, which is funny, so... actually it's not that awesome, but it's still pretty good. Okay, we will block one of the intruders as always. Drown in Sorrow. That's awesome. I think that means we actually win, right? Let's attack first. And then I don't think we will wait for anything, we will just use Drown in Sorrow. I would love to if I could Reckoner's Bargain, but I don't have enough mana, so let's just Drown. Fleet Admiral, I think I will leave that there, that's pretty awesome. Okay, we have a Dispel. Sweet. We can Admiral, see if they have a counterspell. I think we'll try it, we'll just Admiral it up. It works, awesome. So we have the Monarchy, hopefully we can stick it. We have only 6 life, so next turn it's hopefully the Ambusher. Swamp is great for the Snuff Out. Okay, more lands, awesome. Let's play Swamp so that Snuff Out is active. Then let's go to attacks. We double attack here. And then let's ambush the Ogre. Great. And to be honest, let's just play the Ogre. Again, hopefully we can find some cards. We can't, it's fine. We are already very ahead. This should be a good game soon. And we win the game. What a grindy matchup. It was really cool though, 2-1 against Fairies. So we are back with the conclusion, and this deck was actually super fun to play. Obviously the inconsistencies were there because it's a singleton deck, not in a singleton format, but the sideboard and the main deck were somewhat competitive. We had the game against most decks. Of course, sometimes you draw a hand which is very unplayable, you need to mulligan a lot, but actually on 7 or 6 cards, this deck still works pretty well because all of the cantrips and card draw, and we didn't even need to mulligan that often, and we had a game against most meta decks, which I was really surprised to see. I actually wish there was a card which encourages to play a singleton decks, not in a singleton formats. So outside of Commander, this could be really fun to do, because in Hearthstone, for example, there are cards like Reno Jackson which do that. Of course, in Hearthstone there is no Commander. But I think it could be really fun to try build a singleton deck in a format that's not supposed to be singleton. I think this deck, obviously you probably wouldn't win a tournament with it, but it was a really fun experiment to actually see how strong can a deck be if you play only one copy of each card. The sideboard seemed to be built pretty well as well, because we actually sideboarded in a lot of cards against a lot of decks we played against. Actually, we have answers to everything in there, you know, even though it's only a one-off, so I was really happy to see that. And let me know which singleton deck would you like to see next, and which singleton deck do you think is the best in Pauper, and I will see you soon. Have a good day, bye.